Hello everybody and welcome back to Lisa's Coloring Corner. What do I all have here? I thought today we would go ahead and test a whole bunch of clear gessos on a coloring page. Try out a whole bunch of different mediums on the coloring pages and see what works best with what clear gesso. So I'm going to go through the gessos that we are testing. The first one that we are testing is this Jerry's Studio Acrylic Medium and Varnish. It is a matte because, of course, we do not want glossy anything. So we have this. All of these gessos were recommended either in YouTube videos that I watched or on Facebook groups, maybe some blogs, but I think I got them between Facebook and YouTube. So we're going to see what works best. I also have the golden satin glazing liquid. I know a lot of people like that. I also have the Liquitex Basics. This is the matte varnish. Got it at Hobby Lobby. Also, the Liquitex Professional Matte Medium. Again, got it at Hobby Lobby. Then 3 of them in these little jars. Art Basics. This is a clear gesso. Then we have the Daniel Smith Transparent Watercolor Ground. And finally, this Dina Wakely Media, which is another clear gesso. This is by Ranger Ink. If anybody is familiar with the Ranger products, this is made by them. So those are the 7 gessos that we are going to do some testing with, and I am kind of curious what this test is all going to show myself. What I did, I have a digital page from it's Jade Summer, I forgot which book. I think it is their mandala book. Didn't write it down. So I printed it out 7 times and I coated each sheet with one of the gessos. So like this one is the golden satin liquid glaze. Here is the Dina, is it Dina or Dina? Dina Wakely media, and so on and so forth. So I have 7 sheets of the same image. Each image then I divided into 6 sections because I wanted to try some different mediums on each one of these gessos. You know, one medium is not going to make or break a gesso. So I thought we would try alcohol markers, and these are my Gessos markers that I had reviewed on a previous video. Then I thought we would try a water-based marker. These are the super markers. They are the dual tip markers with the fine point and the brush tip. I don't think those are available anymore. I have the 100 set and I don't think they are available. Then I have the Prismacolor Premier pencils. And I thought we'd try then a number of different watercolor mediums because this typically gessos are for wet mediums. It protects the paper. So I thought we would try the Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils, the Derwent Inktense pencils, and finally, last but not least, I thought we would try out the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s on each gesso page. So what I typically, the water medium or the water blender that I typically use when I use watercolor mediums, I don't use a water brush. I like to use my Tombow brush pen, and this is the blender pen. I like using this because I feel like I have a lot more control over the amount. It doesn't get so wet. Now on here, on the gessos, it's not going to matter quite so much, but in coloring book papers or coloring book pages, controlling the amount of water that goes down on that coloring page really makes a difference, because as we all know, a lot of those coloring book pages are thin, especially the Create Space papers. So this is what I typically use, so I thought I would use the same thing in this test. Now the paper that I printed these out on, first I tried it on just your standard printer paper. That's only 20-pound paper, so it's, you know, very thin, of course. And nah, that didn't work. It curled up the paper so bad. So I got out my pack of, it's also Georgia Pacific, which is my standard paper I use, but it is 28-pound. Got this at Walmart for like $8 for 300 sheets, so it's not really expensive, but it is a little heavier than your standard paper. I like using this paper when I am printing things out that I want to keep, like charts, or not my swatch charts, because I print them on cardstock, but just things that I want to keep. I like this little bit heavier paper, so I thought that's what I would use for these tests. Would, I think, more closely equal the weight possibly of the Create Space paper, or Amazon paper as it's called now. So that's what we are going to go with. This Georgia Pacific paper is on Amazon, and I was going to link it below, but it is ridiculously priced on Amazon. I think it's like $25 for this exact same ream, when you can get it for, I think it's $7.95 at Walmart. So yeah, definitely go to Walmart and get that paper, not Amazon. I spread all of the gessos out, and even though I concentrated the gesso on the image, I spread it with the foam brush over the entire page because I wanted to see how much it was going to curl. So I used the foam brush. Then I heat set it, and I just use this, it's called Heat It craft tool. It is also by Ranger, and I did get this off of Amazon. I can link it down below. I really like this versus one. This is a heat gun, but some of those other heat guns with the, it's got a longer skinny barrel on them. Those are more powerful than this, but they make a lot of noise, and this does just as good a job if you ask me. So that's what I use to heat set my paper, or to dry my papers. And then I, in addition to that, I let them sit for a couple hours, so I know that they are good and dry. One nice thing about using the heat gun, as you are drying it, and when you typically dry things with a heat gun, you also dry the backside. By doing that, it did help to flatten the papers. These were extremely curled up, and by using the heat gun on them, like I said, it did really help to flatten the pages. So that might be a little tip if you are using these gessos on your coloring book pages. Use a heat gun. That one was quite cheap, quite reasonable, I should say. I know many people, especially in the coloring community, do not have heat guns because we really don't have a big need for them. But if you are going to be using gessos quite a bit in your coloring book pages because of using watercolor mediums, it might be worth your while to invest in that. So I have some paper towel here for when we get to the watercolor mediums. A couple of notes that I jotted down as I was putting all the different all the different gessos on these sheets. The paper that stayed the flattest actually was with this Jerry's Studio Acrylic Medium and Varnish, which kind of surprised me because, well, I don't know. This is one of the, I shouldn't say cheaper ones, because the Liquitex Basics was really reasonable. Some of the others do get a little bit more pricey. The one that actually curled up the most was kind of a toss-up between the Liquitex Basics, again, being one of the more cheap, ones, and also the Daniel Smith. And that one kind of, I guess, surprised me. But yeah, it did curl up quite a bit. Not that that's really going to matter in the grand scheme of things. With your pages curling up, once you have your coloring book shut, and especially if you put something heavy over the top of it, a lot of times they flatten back out, so not that big of a deal. The thing that's going to be a bigger deal is how smooth is this, and what are the mediums going to go down like. I put these pages in order of what I felt were the roughest to the touch, and also when I was writing on them. Golden Satin seemed to me to be the roughest out of all 7. All the way through to, and this again surprised me, Jerry's Studio seemed the absolute smoothest. So I'm curious to see how the mediums are going to do on this particular gesso, with it being so smooth. And even when I wrote on that one, and also I believe it was the oh yeah, it was the Liquitex Basics, is also very smooth, and that is again one of the lesser expensive types of gesso, and very easy to write on also. So again, kind of curious to see how the mediums are going to work on this, if having, these being able to write real smoothly on is going to be representative of how the mediums are going to work. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to run the test, and let's see. I've been meaning to do this video for a long time. Even before I had my YouTube channel, I wanted to do this test. And I was just going to post it on Facebook and let people know what I found out. So now that I have a YouTube channel, it's the perfect opportunity to do this, and it's been on my to-do list pretty much since the beginning, since I started my YouTube channel, along with doing the diamond painting videos. So I am getting some things off of my to-do list. Yay me. Okay. Let's get started. I'm going to put this off to the side because the first 3 are not water-based. I tried to pick out, as close as I could, the same 2 colors in all of the mediums that we are going to be working with today. I picked a darker green and a lighter green. I just felt, we do so many leaves and things like that in a lot of our coloring books, and especially Johanna Basford's. And if we can find a clear gesso that really works well on the coloring book pages, we could use alcohol markers. We could use more of our water color type of mediums, with using more water and not having to worry about ruining the page. Also, water-based markers wouldn't pill up the paper then if they, if you have it gessoed, and they blend well. So we're going to have to see. So let's get started. I am going to remove the tips off of both so we can blend quickly. So let's go ahead. I think I'm just going to go down this center We'll call it a leaf. And let me zoom you in a little bit so you can see this better. Okay, how's that? Or should we go one more? Okay, so let's go ahead and see. I'm just gonna come down and then come up. This is kind of how I blend. And then let's go in right away with the lighter green. And yes, I can see right away this is not working. Not working too well at all. No. It does pull, you know, the alcohol ink around, but it just does not look well. So we're gonna say that's a no-go. Let's put that back on. Put those to the side for the next one. Now let's get out our water-based markers and let's give this a go. Now I am not going to be making these as neat as possible. You know, we just want to do some testing. Let's go to the lighter green. Ooh, yes. Ooh, I like that. Water-based markers work great, I think, on the golden satin. So that is a plus. Maybe I should just, pardon my arm, put a X or a check mark. Why don't we do that? You can let me know if you kind of agree with my conclusions. Maybe you won't. I don't know. This is what I am doing. All right, let's go to the Prismacolor Premier pencils. Should have sharpened this one. Oh well. Let's go ahead and use this so it's similar to our other areas that we're coloring. This is how I blend, and that's why I picked the Prismacolor, because Prismacolors do just blend so nicely, whereas all the other pencils are, or many of them, are more of a layering pencil. And that's not doing too bad. You do have a little bit, even with hard pressure, you do have, I'm sorry, I am off screen. You do have a little bit of white specks left, but it's not too bad. All right, let's go on to the watercolor mediums. We'll just jump right across and go to the Elbrick Duer. I think I'm gonna put them over here so my arm quits going in front of the camera. Okay, the Elbrick Duer. And let's make sure I am on camera. There we go. And we're gonna do the same kind of thing. These pencils are also great just to color with, without even adding the water. All right, let's go ahead and blend that out. We'll start with the light color, blend it into the dark. And yes, that works nice. It's very smooth when you do your watercolors on gessoed paper. Very big difference than when you just do them straight on a coloring book page. You can just feel the difference. Okay, so I think that turned out rather nice. Can you actually see well as I am doing this? There. Let's go on to the Derwent ink tints then. All right, we will do the ink tints on this side, and then finally the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s on the other side. And I'm just going to go up into here, even though the line tells me I shouldn't. Go with the light green in the middle. Kind of bring it down into the dark green. And let's see what the ink tints does. Bring it into the dark. Oh yes, I like it. I do like it. What do you think? I think that's pretty nice. Finally, let's try the Neocolor 2s. Whoops, we want to go with the dark first. Can you see? No, you can't. I should really have sharpened these too. Kind of hard to get into these smaller areas. Okay. Neocolor 2s, I probably didn't need to put that much down because they are so pigmented. Let's see what the Neocolor 2s do. Let's go down into the dark. Oh, nice. Yes, I think I like the golden satin. Now, I know when Anne ran her tests between the golden satin and the Daniel Smith, she much preferred the Daniel Smith watercolor ground. So we'll see how this testing goes. She didn't care as much for the golden, this satin liquid glaze. So again, we'll see what the comparison turns out using this particular test between all the mediums and all 7 of the gessos. So let's see. Prismacolor pencils, I'm going to kind of say a no. It was really pretty rough and scratchy, but I did like all 3 of the watercolor mediums on here. I thought they turned out rather nice. What did you think? Okay, let's put that one to the side. Let's get out the next one that I felt was the second roughest. And as you could see, that one worked pretty well. And it was kind of the roughest feeling, at least in my opinion. All right, on the Dina Wakely clear gesso. Again, this is by Ranger. We are going to see, first of all, how the alcohol markers do. So let's, oh, right away I can feel that it goes on much smoother. Wow. Oh, yeah. I think I picked a bad color because this green is not juicy whatsoever. I can tell, though, that the alcohol markers are blending on here because this green is not very juicy. I think is having an effect on it. But I can feel it. They actually are blending on this particular paper. Well, not paper, this gesso. So I am actually going to mark that with a check mark. I didn't think alcohol markers would blend on any of these gessos, to tell you the truth. But that felt pretty good. Let's try the water-based super markers. Am I still on screen? Yeah. Oh yeah, they are going down nice. It sounds rough as I am putting the marker down, but because it does feel like a rougher gesso. Now see, the watercolor markers are not blending as nice on here as the other. No, they're not really. I thought the water-based markers would blend pretty much on all of them, because that was one of the reasons we would want to, again, gesso our papers. But I think I have to put a no for that one. They did not blend much at all. Let's go ahead and we're going to try the Prismacolor pencils. Again, I'm not worried too much about staying in the lines. You can see the texture in here. I don't think gesso, any of the gessos, I don't think is really going to work much with colored pencils, just because of the texture in it. No, this is definitely a no. You can see the texture in there a lot. So that is definitely a big no. Let's go and try the Albrecht Dürer. Let's bring you over here. Okay. Now you can, again, see the texture through it, but that should hopefully disappear once we add the water to the watercolor pencil. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's start with the light. Yeah, these blend nicely together, which they should. I mean, but you never know how they're going to work with the gessos. So that is a definite yes. So I will put a check mark there. Let's go down to the ink tints. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and get these down on the paper. Okay, and let's see how that blends out. I just love the brightness of these pencils. The Albrecht Dürer blends so nice too. As you can see, the watercolor pigment in them just dissolve so nice. Really nice, high quality. Oh, yes. The ink tints work wonderfully on here. So that is a definite yes. And finally, let's do the Caran d'Ache Neocolored 2s. And let's blend that out. Am I off screen again? Gosh, I'm sorry. And I actually do not like this as much. I don't know. I mean, they do blend out. Don't get me wrong. It just seems rougher with these versus the two watercolor pencils. I don't know. I'm almost going to say that's a no. I'm going to be rather picky on these just because we have so many mediums to go through and 7 different gessos. So I'm going to say that's a no. It did blend out okay, but it just, as I was using the blender, it just felt, I don't know, it felt different. I don't know how to explain it, but okay, let's go on to the next one then. That one wasn't too bad, actually. Let's go on to this is the Liquitex Professional Matte Medium. I think I am going to pause quickly, and I am going to see if I can find another green that is going to be kind of not complementary, but is kind of going to blend in with this. Again, this one feels kind of dry, so it's not a fair test. So I will be right back. Alrighty, I am back. I went and I got the grass green marker. It's a little bit darker than the other green, but not by much, so I thought it would work better for this test. So let's go ahead and open both of them. Again, this is the Liquitex Professional Matte Medium. Oh, it is going on very nice. It's going on very smoothly. Oh, this is working great. Oh, this is the, well, it's going on very smoothly. It can leave it a little streaky. And for larger areas, this probably, you wouldn't want to use it, but overall, it's not too bad. I think that I am going to give this a check mark. It's not bad. I am going to, yeah, give that a check mark. Let's try the water-based markers. Again, these are going down quite nice. Oh yeah, these are blending together really nice. Beautifully. Let's give that a check mark. Let's go to the Prismacolor markers. Prismacolor markers. No, Prismacolor pencils. I had noticed it wasn't written over here, so I'm going to quick write it in here. Prismacolor. That's supposed to be an M. Pencils. Okay. Again, I don't expect these to work real well. Oh, this is smoother though. It's not too bad. But it does still leave some white. So again, I don't think I could give this a check mark. I think I'm going to have to give this a Let's go to the water mediums. And I suspect, whoops, we could leave this over this way. I suspect these are going to work on the vast majority of all these gessos. Again, it's kind of what they're made for. But let's see if some work better than others. And as I'm going through these, maybe keep track and let me know what you think works better. To me, so far, all the watercolor mediums are working pretty good. Let's blend that out. It's almost moving it too easy, if that makes sense. I mean, you got to work with it a little bit more. I don't know. Yeah, it makes it almost smeary like some of them are with the alcohol markers. I don't know. I don't think I care for that much. It may look okay at the end, but it's a little bit harder to work with. I'm going to give it an X. Sorry. Let's try the ink tints. And let me get on screen here. Okay. And we will blend this out. No, this seems real scratchy. I don't like it. Although it does blend nice. I'm on the fence with this one. It does really blend nice. I guess I'm going to have to say yes for that one. And last but not least, let's do the Neocolor 2s. Okay. And we will blend this out. Again, these watercolor mediums just move effortlessly on the gesso. Makes a huge difference. The it doesn't seem to be dissolving as nice though. It's like it takes a little bit more effort. It does it does eventually, but it almost moves too easy. Yeah, and it took longer to dissolve the Neocolor. I'm going to give that an X. Again, being picky, I guess. Okay, let's go on to the next one. This is the Art Basics. I should be showing you these as I go through it. Again, this is, no, I can't. I gotta zoom back out. The ones that we have gone through. The golden satin we did. That was the first one. We did, let me look. Okay, the first one we did was golden satin. Then we did the Dina Wakely, and that's in this little jar. Then we just got done with the Liquitex Professional, and that's this one. Okay, now we are doing the Art Basics Clear Gesso. That is in this jar. It's a little bit bigger of a jar than the other two. The Dina Wakely is quite small. This is quite pricey. Some of these gessos do get quite pricey. And the Dina Wakely I didn't think was fantastic. Anyhow, I had heard such good things about this stuff, so that's why I wanted to try it. And I don't know, but we'll see which ones have the most check marks and X's. So we'll wait till the end. Let's try the alcohol markers on the Art Basics. So again, the Art Basics, yes, is this larger jar like this. Let's go ahead and zoom back in. Okay, is that close enough? All right. Oh, let's take the other one off too. And so you can just feel the alcohol moving so much easier on these gessoed papers too. I actually like this. Yeah, the only problem I guess is because it moves so much easier. It streaks it, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, look at how it's moving that. Kind of eats right through the gesso, I think is what's happening. So I guess I'm going to have to say a no. And I may have to go back and change my mind on that other one too. I just don't think, you know, these gessos weren't made for alcohol markers. It would be nice if they were, because that was one of the reasons I originally bought some of these gessos, is because I wanted to use my alcohol markers in double-sided pages. And I had heard that you could do that with gesso. So that's why I originally started buying all these gessos. Let's go ahead and try the super markers. And I suspect these should work pretty good, and they do. So the one nice feature of gessoing your paper is going to be that you can blend watercolor or water-based markers terrifically. Okay, let's go on to the Prismacolor pencils. Again, I am not holding out any hopes. Oh, this is actually kind of smooth, although I said that last time too. Again, I do not layer. I am not a layering person unless I have to. I mean, if I am working with the polychromos, I will. It's not actually too bad, but it's still rough texture and you can still kind of see it. I don't know if you can from up there. Whoops. Let's get down where I belong. See, it's, I don't know. I gotta quit saying that it's backwards, but it is. Okay. Yeah, that's an X. And I didn't check these off. This is an X. Markers, super markers are a plus, or a check. Okay, let's try the Elbrick Dur. Okay. And let's blend it out. And yes, definitely works nice. Oops. Works nice on here. So that is a check. Let's try the Derwent ink tints. Getting sick of this yet? I'm not. It's kind of interesting. I loved watching Anne's. Okay, let's see what they do on this Art Basics gesso. And yes, this is very nice on here. Blends beautifully. Okay, that is a definite check mark. And finally, the Neocolor 2s. Again, I should have sharpened this ahead of time. Sit down to look at the going out of the lines. All right, and see if this blends nicely. And yes, it seems to work really well on here. Yeah, definitely. That is a definite plus. Check. I could have done pluses and minuses, huh? All right, that is a check. Moving right along, we have the Daniel Smith. Now, I know this is the one that Anne really liked, so we will see if we like it as much with all the different mediums. I don't want to let that bias my opinion. Nor yours. I don't know if you've seen her video. Okay, let's try the alcohol markers. Like I said, they do go down so nice. So if you just wanted to do straight coloring on a double-sided, you know, coloring book, I believe, oh, that is one thing we should remind me, will ya? Again, it does actually blend, but like the others, I think it is almost, it almost seems like it's, again, dissolving the gesso, and it leaves it streaky. So again, because of that, I am going to have to say, eh. But yeah, if you want to straight color, say it's a double-sided mandala book. Most of them are not double-sided, but let's say it is, and you wanted to use your alcohol markers. So far, a lot of these gessos, with the exception of the first couple, would work really good. But with the blending, no, not so much. You can see, and I'm going to look on the back of all of these. Nothing comes through with the alcohol markers when it is gessoed, though. So let's go ahead and try the water-based markers. I never like to leave, you know, come up and just leave a straight line when I blend. I like to leave it jagged because it is easier to blend it out then. And oh yes, this works fantastically. Oh yeah, that looks great. Love that. That is a definite check. Let's go ahead and we are going to try the Prismacolor pencils. Yeah, I can kind of see already. This is not the best. Again, Prismacolor pencils are just striking out. So that is a definite nah. Let's try the Albrecht Dürer. Seems to be a little harder to lay down though. Unless it was just the tip, but yeah, it must have just been that pencil for some reason, because this one seems to be going down okay. And let's blend this out. Moves very easily, dissolves very nicely. And yeah, I didn't blend that out too well. I should have had some more light green there in the middle, but it did blend it together very nicely, so we are going to give that a check mark. Let's go ahead and try the ink tints. Get more of the light green in there now. And blend it out again. Seems like you're having to work a little bit harder with these. But all in all, and yeah, I'm pulling it all together again, but all in all, that does blend together pretty well. Yeah. So basically, all of the watercolor mediums are working great on all of these gessos, whereas the only things that really don't work on the gessos are the alcohol markers and the Prismacolor pencils. Now this, of course, is a watercolor ground. This type of gesso, if you want to call it a gesso, it is very similar to a watercolor ground. This is exactly what this particular one is meant for, and it looks like this. Comes in this tub. So that is what that looks like. It's a pretty little flower on the front. So that is the Daniel Smith, not real expensive. And those little containers are going to go quite a ways. Again, it's taking a little bit longer to dissolve than some of the others. Not sure if I like this. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I'm going to say that's a no. May look okay from up there, but I kind of know what it felt like, and it didn't want to dissolve it real well, and it's still leaving some pieces here. No, that did not work as well. I'm going to say that's a no. One of the few. Okay, let's go on. I think we only have 2 left. Okay, let me push these up a little bit. Now, this one is the Liquitex Basics. Now, that's the professional. This is the Basics Matte Varnish. So this is quite reasonable. It is $9.99 at Hobby Lobby, but of course, you can use your 40% off. So, you know, it's probably about $6 for this whole thing, and you can imagine how long this container is going to last you. So when I did this particular, let me zoom you back out. When I was drawing the lines on this one, I don't know why. When I measured halfway across, I was thinking 4.5 inches instead of 4 1/4 for a 8.5 by 11. So my line is over too far. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a line down the middle so that we can test it the same way we have tested the others, and hopefully it won't smear that ink. So let's go ahead and try the alcohol markers yet again. Now again, this one actually felt quite smooth to the touch. It's very silky feeling, whereas the other ones were quite scratchy. So we'll see. Oh yeah, this goes down extremely smooth. So again, if you just wanted a straight color with these, and they do blend very, very nicely, but like the others, very streaky. It leaves it very streaky. So you just can't give it a check mark. Because of that, you wouldn't want to use these on this particular gesso, so we're going to have to give it an X. Let's use the super markers. And oh, I forgot to zoom you back in. Alrighty. See, when I move my page down, where I'm watching over here on my iPad, it's moving it up. So yeah, I move it down, and it's actually moving it to the side, but it looks like it's moving it up. So that's why I get real confused. Don't take much some days. And these, again, feel like they're going down very nicely. Blend it out with the lighter green, and beautiful. So these water-based markers are working really well on pretty much all of the gessos. Let's go over and attempt our pour Prismacolor pencils that have been getting the axe on everything. I mean, they're not the worst on some of them if you don't mind some white left in it, or if you are a layerer. But again, that it's real, yeah, it's real blotchy. I'm going to have to, again, give it a... Let's go over and do the Albrecht Dürer. Okay. What is wrong with this pencil? It just doesn't want to lay down. Look at that. Huh. No, it does not want to lay on this. This Liquitex Basics. The lighter green isn't bad. So what is it? Let me scribble off. Maybe it got some of the other gessos on it. And no, it's still, well, it's better. Maybe it just was getting a coating on it. I don't know why this one did and the others didn't, but okay, let's see. And it still does blend nicely. I want to test that out again though. I want to scribble the dark off really well to see, because it is writing really good on my tablet over here. And no, it does not like this paper. It does not like this gesso at all. So I am going to have to give that a X that one. All right, let's try the ink tints. Bring you up here. And we will use the, oh, I guess I don't really have to use a line because we went out here, didn't we? Duh. Did that for nothing. That's okay. I had to practice drawing my straight line. Okay, let's blend those out. Bella's being a pistol in there. Yes, that blended out nicely. We can give that a check. And then finally, again, the Neocolor 2s. And let's blend that out. And yes, that's working nice. Very nice. Yep, that gets a check. All right, last but not least, the smoothest. I mean, this was very smooth. It just had a little bit of a texture to it. Was actually the Jerry's Studio. And that is this huge, huge bottle. I mean, can you imagine how long this is going to last, dude? I can't remember where I bought this. I think I bought it online. I think I bought it directly from Jerry's. I had gone to Hobby Lobby and Michael's looking for it. But if I remember right, they didn't carry it. I'm pretty sure I had to order it right from Jerry's. So let's zoom back in. Whoops, wrong way, Jose. All right. Let's once more try these pour alcohol markers. And again, I am off on this one. And let's blend. You know, and again, like the others, they do blend nicely, but they just are streaky. So, again, it is a no. Pour alcohol markers and pour Prismacolor. Neat. I suspect the water-based markers are going to be good, as in all the others. Yes, wonderful. So that is a check. And yeah, let's try the pour Prismacolor. The pour Prismacolor pencils. Oh, did I hit you? Sorry. Actually, this is the smoothest. And that's why I bought that Dina Wakely, because from what I read about it, that was supposed to be extremely non-gritty. This one is actually not too bad. Now, because I was expecting it not to blend, I did not lighten out. Let's try it again. This is not bad at all. This is the best for the Prismacolor pencils out of all of them. Huh. Well, I'll be jiggered. I think I might almost have to give this a check mark. I mean, it's a little, I don't know. That's not bad, though. Do we give it a check mark finally? I don't know, because it still is kind of grainy, isn't it? Does that look grainy to you? It is blending relatively nice on this paper, but I don't know. I really don't think you're going to want to use pencils on any of these, so I guess I'm still going to have to give it an X. If you do have this Jerry's Studio, go ahead and try, whoops, X. Go ahead and try a Prismacolor pencil on there and let me know what you think. It is by far the smoothest, less gritty of all of them, in my opinion. Here is the Elbrick. See, there is something wrong with this pencil. But I don't know why on my paper over there, it worked just fine. I don't understand. Because then the other pencil is just fine. Let me try it on one of these first ones where we got a check. Yeah, it's just fine. So it is the other Gessos. Okay, I had to see and make sure that it wasn't the pencil itself, and it's not. So this is a no. They do blend okay, but some pencils are definitely not going to like it. Same with that last one. Did I put an X by that one? Yeah, I did. Okay. Yeah, this one's going to have an X too then. Alrighty. That's interesting. It seemed like the ink tints in Caran d'Ache, though, did okay with these, that last gesso. So we'll see. Yeah, it seems to be fine. Okay. And let's check this one out. Yes, that works nice. Very nice. So, whoops. We will give that a check. And the very last one, I'm going to take a drink quick, is the Neocolor Choose. And let's blend that one out. And yes, that is working nice. Blends nice, dissolves nice. All of these actually dissolved really, really well on these gessos. Now, I don't have more of the budget-friendly watercolor pencils, so I couldn't test those out. Some of those have a tendency of sometimes having a hard time dissolving the pigment. So it would have been interesting to see on these tests if this gesso, and I'm assuming it would have, helped to dissolve some of the pigment in those more budget-friendly watercolor pencils. So that would, I never thought of that until right now. That probably would have been a good test to do. Let's get out all of these and let's look at the back side. Oh, now that's interesting. You see that? Now, either I didn't have enough gesso in that area. The golden satin liquid glaze, I think because I was really trying to blend it there, but it did go through. Interesting. Okay. Again, it may be because I went back and forth in that one area. This is the Dina Wakely, and nothing. There's not any wrinkling, no nothing from the watercolor mediums nor the alcohol markers. And there shouldn't be. I was really surprised at that first one. Nothing on, this is Liquitex Professional. And that one is just fine. Then this one is the Art Basics Clear Gesso. Again, just fine. This one is the Daniel Smith Watercolor Ground. That one is just fine. This is the Liquitex Basics, and yes, that one is fine. And finally, the Jerry's Studio, and yeah, that one is fine. Again, it should protect all of them against bleed through of alcohol markers. I do think that golden satin was just because I was scrubbing in that one area. And like I said, it almost seems like the alcohol markers kind of, it's like they sort of dissolve the gesso. and that's why they get so streaky. So with me going and scrubbing in that one area, because I was trying to dissolve this area here, I think that is why it went through. I don't think normally it would have, because the rest of the areas are just fine. So I think that was just a fluke. But let's count up how many check marks are on each one of these pages. So let's kind of give them a score. Liquid or golden satin liquid glaze, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I suspect most of them are going to have a 4. Dina Wakely, the water base did not work. I have to take this back off from the alcohol markers. Even though it did blend, it did leave it streaky, just like all the others. So I can't give it a check for blending when I didn't on the others. So we only have two on this one, because I did not like how this dissolved the Caran d'Ache Neil Color 2s. So the Dina Wakely, which was one of them that was rated really high, again, why I got it, no, I don't think it worked near as well. The Liquitex Professional, again, this one actually did not work too bad though. Before I do give it that check mark, I am going to try it one more time now that I went through all of them. And let's just see. I know you're zoomed out quite a bit, but I want to see on a smaller leaf over here. They actually, no, they are streaking. Yeah, they are like the others. Yeah, so I am not going to give that a check. Yeah, the alcohol markers pretty much react the same on all of them. So I'm going to have to take that away. Sorry, alcohol markers. So we got 1, 2, again, we only got 2 on the Liquitex Professional. Art Basics Clear Gesso, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 again. Daniel Smith, 1, 2, 3. I did not like how the Caran d'Ache laid down though, so it got a 3. Liquitex Basics, 1, 2, 3. And finally, Jerry's Studio, we got 1. Oh yeah, these last 2 are the ones that the Albrecht door did not like. So it got 1, 2. Oh, this one should have been a check because that was okay. So this one got a 3. So let's go back and check which one of them got the 4s, because I know there were a few. Jerry's Studio was not bad, especially with the water-based markers. Inktense, Caran d'Ache, real good. Okay, Liquitex, the same thing, got a 3. Daniel Smith got the 3. Art Basics, and that is this one. This is another one that I had read that was rated really good. This is by Finnabear. I believe I did get this on Amazon. If these are on Amazon, I will link them down below. I do not think that Jerry's is on Amazon though. Most of the others, other than the ones at Hobby Lobby, I do think you can get them on Amazon too. So I'm going to compare some of the prices. If it's a lot more on Amazon than what these would be with a 40% discount, because we know we can always have a 40% discount at Hobby Lobby and Michael's, I will not link those. If they're comparable in price, I will go ahead and link those, because not everybody has an art store near them. So the Art Basics is worked out really well, and Liquitex did not. That only got a 2, so that's a no. The Dina Wakely only got a 2, but the golden satin got a 4. Interesting. So the 2 that I felt worked the best with all of the, especially with the 3 watercolor mediums, were the golden satin and the, sorry for my arm, the art basics. So I guess these 2 won out over all of the others. Isn't that interesting? The golden does say it's slow drying extender for acrylic colors. I do not have watercolor paints, but I suspect the same thing would be happening on all these mediums, or all these gessos, sorry, in that it does extend the drying time of your mediums so they are able to blend together better. And again, that is the purpose of all of these gessos, especially that watercolor ground. Now that Daniel Smith is nice also. All of these worked great. If you want to use those water-based markers, you know, our real friendly markers, friendly, budget friendly. Yeah, they even say hi to you every morning. The budget-friendly water-based markers, you know, like our Crayolas even, probably would blend nicely on all these gessos. The super markers are, you know, very budget-friendly, also very comparable to the Crayola. Maybe I should have tried the Crayola versus the super markers. I was just afraid because I use the Crayola in some of my books, like my Mystery Mosaic books. I have them numbered. If any of these gessos ruined tips and stuff, I didn't want to ruin the tips of those. And that's why I picked these. Silly reason, huh? So, again, the testing is done. The results are in. Art Basics and Golden Satin came in with a tie win. Who would have thought, right? All right, so that is the end of the test. I hope everybody found this testing rather interesting. I know I did. I did not do any of this ahead of time. Did all of it for the first time with you guys. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing and hit that bell so you know when I put out new content. I hope everybody is having a terrific weekend. It is Sunday afternoon here, so this will be going up sometime early next week. No, not if. Again, I hope everybody's having a great day, and as always, happy coloring.